My beloved child, before you hear a single word of this divine message, pause, breathe, and listen with the seriousness of someone standing between two destinies, because heaven is speaking directly to you right now, and the first instruction is simple: subscribe to this channel immediately and do not take your finger off the screen until this message ends, because if you skip even 1 second, the blessing that was released for you will pass to someone else. Now let me ask you a question, one that heaven has waited years to ask you. Why do you always receive signs at the exact moment your life is about to change, but still hesitate to act? And here is another question heaven wants you to answer silently. If the thing you've been praying for suddenly appeared at your door tonight, would you be ready to hold it, or would fear make you drop it again? These questions are not random, they are tests, and Archangel Michael says the one who answers them truthfully is the one who receives the breakthrough in the next 90 minutes. Because, child, time is running out, and the opportunity your Father in heaven sent, the one you cried for, begged for, waited for, fought for, is about to vanish forever unless you listen to every word I'm saying right now. Heaven is pulling you into a rare moment, a divine window that opens once every 10 years, and as I speak, I see your timeline shaking like a sheet of lightning, past, present, and future rearranging themselves around one decision you are about to make before this message ends. Archangel Michael steps forward holding a scroll sealed with gold fire, your name carved into the edges, and he whispers, "Child, if they skip this message, the scroll returns to heaven, and the blessing they have waited 10 years for will not return until the next appointed season. So don't scroll. Don't blink. Don't break your focus." Let me ask you another question. Have you ever wondered why every time your blessing is near, something distracts you, pulls your attention away, or fills you with sudden fear? Because right now, the same force that tried to sabotage your last opportunity is trying to pull you away again. Archangel Michael is here because this time, heaven refuses to let you lose what belongs to you. I see you standing in a corridor of shifting doors, one glowing gold, one fading silver, one turning completely dark. The golden door is the opportunity heaven sent for you right now. The silver door is the life you're living today. The dark door is the life you're terrified of falling into. And the reason you are watching this message at this exact second is because the golden door is about to close, and if you don't walk through it now, heaven says you will have to wait 10 years for the same blessing to return. Think, really think, about the last time you hesitated and lost something you loved. The last time you trusted the wrong person. The last time your heart said, "Go," but your mind said, "Maybe later." Heaven is showing me that you have missed divine timings before, but this one is different. This one affects your entire destiny, your finances, your stability, your relationships, your purpose, your health, your protection, your peace, your future children, and even the people connected to your name. Archangel Michael raises his sword and draws a circle of blue flames around your life because he sees something approaching, something that was meant to derail you one final time before your breakthrough. But listen carefully, you are not watching this video by accident. Heaven dragged you here. You think you clicked this video randomly? No. Your angels have been trying to reach you for weeks, and today is the first time your spirit was quiet enough to hear. The scroll in Michael's hand begins to glow, and I hear your Father in heaven speaking directly through the flames. "My child, for years you have cried for an opportunity that changes everything. For years you thought I was silent. For years you wondered if you had been forgotten. But today, I am revealing the door I kept hidden until you were strong enough to walk through it. But child, the door is closing in 90 minutes. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Not in the future you keep imagining. This is the moment. This is the window. This is the intersection of divine timing and earthly obedience. And now heaven asks you another question. What will you do when the blessing you begged for is finally within reach? Will you freeze? Or will you step forward? The energy around you is shifting violently. Michael is fighting through chains placed on you from childhood, from betrayal, from generational wounds that kept repeating the same patterns. I see someone who doubted you, someone who mocked you, someone who pretended to support you but secretly celebrated when you failed. Heaven is removing their influence forever. I see a door behind you closing permanently, and I see a new light forming in front of you, bright, white, angelic, like dawn breaking through the heaviest storm. Your Father in heaven steps forward, cloaked in glory brighter than fire, and says, "Child, you have survived enough. This is your time." You feel that in your chest right now, that sudden warmth, that tightening in your heart, that pull in your soul. That's not emotion, that's divine confirmation. Listen to me, heaven is not warning you to scare you, heaven is warning you because you are closer than you think. You are inches away from the thing you thought you might never receive. It is not 10 years away. It is 90 minutes away. But if you walk away from this message, the timing collapses. Michael holds the scroll over your head and it unfurls in a burst of golden wind, revealing a vision of your future, a home where peace stays instead of leaving, finances that flow instead of freezing, relationships that heal instead of breaking, opportunities that multiply instead of disappear. But the scroll has a countdown, an hour and 30 minutes, ticking in glowing celestial numbers. When the countdown ends, the blessing seals to whatever decision you made. So now heaven asks the final question: are you willing to receive what you have been praying for, or are you still afraid that you don't deserve it? Michael steps behind you, placing his hand on your shoulder, and whispers, "Child, you are chosen. Walk forward." The golden door opens wider, a beam of holy light pouring onto your path, painting your spirit with the future you were born for. This is your last warning and your greatest opportunity. Time is running out. 90 minutes. One decision. One moment that rewrites 10 years of your destiny. Your Father in heaven says, blessings do not vanish. They shift to the one who is ready. Be ready, child. Step forward now. And now, child, as Archangel Michael stands guard behind you with his sword raised high, the atmosphere around your destiny shifts like a storm preparing to release rain after a decade of drought, and heaven leans closer because what comes next determines not only your next 90 minutes but the next 9 years of your life. And I must ask you another question, one that your soul has avoided for far too long. Why do you shrink yourself when heaven keeps calling you chosen? You walk through life expecting small blessings when heaven carved a great destiny into your spirit before you were even born. Michael shows me the moment you first started doubting yourself, someone's harsh words, someone's betrayal, someone's abandonment, a wound that burrowed so deep inside you that even today your spirit trembles at the thought of believing again, but heaven says those wounds end tonight. I see your Father in heaven placing his palm over your heart, and with every heartbeat your past breaks a little more. Shame breaks, fear breaks, small thinking breaks, the lies spoken over you break, and your spirit begins rising to a level you've never touched before. The golden door you saw earlier begins glowing so bright it almost blinds the darkness around you, and from inside the doorway you hear your name being whispered in the language of heaven, a sound too holy for the human tongue, a sound that melts every chain tied to your destiny since childhood. Michael commands the chains to shatter, and the ground beneath you cracks as the weight you've carried for years lifts off your shoulders like dust blown away by a divine wind. You feel lighter, not emotionally, but spiritually, because heaven is removing everything that kept you from your blessing, the self-doubt, the hesitation, the people who drained you, the situations that embarrassed you, the memories that haunted you, the fears that froze you. Your Father in heaven says, "Child, you were not created to survive life. You were created to transform it." The scroll in Michael's hand expands into a vision so powerful it sends waves of light rushing around your soul, your future glowing with opportunities that fit your purpose, not your fear. And now, child, heaven asks you another question. If I place the dream you've carried for years into your hands tonight, will you hold it with courage or lose it again to hesitation? The countdown is still ticking, glowing above your destiny like a celestial hourglass spilling golden grains of divine timing, and each grain represents a choice: believe or fear, step forward or stay stuck, receive or resist. The next 90 minutes are not about the world outside you, they are about the war inside your spirit. The part of you that wants to rise is finally stronger than the part of you that wants to hide, and heaven is amplifying that strength because the moment you accept this blessing, your entire timeline will shift so fast it will feel like waking from a long nightmare into a sunrise so bright it makes your eyes water. Archangel Michael opens the scroll wider and shows you scenes from your future, scenes you haven't dared to imagine in years, you walking confidently into opportunities you once felt unworthy of, you surrounded by people who genuinely support your spirit instead of draining it, you stepping into rooms where your presence shifts the atmosphere, you making decisions that align with your purpose instead of your fear. You receiving financial stability that replaces the anxiety you've carried for far too long. I see you standing inside a home filled with peace, a kind of peace you have never experienced before, where silence feels healing instead of heavy. I see you laughing again, not a small laugh, but the kind that lifts years of exhaustion off your soul. I see a version of you who finally understands why the wait was so long, because heaven wasn't preparing the blessing for you, heaven was preparing you for the blessing. And now, child, your Father in heaven steps closer, his voice echoing like thunder wrapped in love. The blessing is bigger than the one you prayed for. That is why it took so long. Michael's wings expand behind you, creating a shield so powerful no enemy, no jealousy, no curse, no negativity, no betrayal, no spiritual attack can cross it, and he looks at you with fierce determination as if saying, "I fought too hard for your breakthrough for you to lose it now." The battlefield around your life clears, the clouds separating like a curtain being pulled open for a divine performance, and now the full light of heaven shines on you, bright, warm, unstoppable. Child, can you feel it? The shift in your spirit? The heat in your chest? The electricity running through your fingertips? That is the moment destiny locks onto your name. That is the moment heaven says, "Now." That is the moment everything changes. But heaven gives you one final question, the most important one yet. Do you want the life you were born for, or the life you settled for? Because the golden door is open right now, but it will not stay open forever. 90 minutes is all heaven is giving you to step into a decade of blessings, and Archangel Michael warns, if they hesitate now, the door will close and the blessing will sleep for 10 years. But I know you feel it. I know your spirit is awake. I know your heart is pounding because you can sense the truth in these words. This is your moment. This is your season. This is your divine turning point. Heaven is not calling you to be afraid, heaven is calling you to be ready. Ready to receive. Ready to rise. Ready to walk through the golden door before it vanishes from your timeline. Take a breath, child. This is the beginning of your transformation. Your Father in heaven says, step forward. I will meet you on the other side. And now, child, as the golden door continues to expand and the atmosphere around your spirit vibrates like the moment before thunder cracks open the sky, heaven pulls you into a deeper realm of understanding, one that only a few souls ever experience, and Archangel Michael steps forward again, his sword blazing with blue fire, carving protective patterns in the air around your name as if preparing your destiny for something sacred and irreversible, and your Father in heaven whispers, child, the moment you have feared is the moment I prepared you for, and instantly I see flashes of your life, every heartbreak, every setback, every disappointment, every night you lay awake wondering why God allowed certain things to break you, every prayer you whispered hoping someone above was listening, every time you held back tears because you had to appear strong, every moment you stayed silent even when your soul was screaming, all of it forming a staircase leading directly to this rare 90-minute doorway, and heaven reveals to me that the reason this blessing is so enormous, so life-shifting, so destiny-defining is because it requires the version of you who survived everything you thought would destroy you. Michael turns the scroll again and a new vision erupts from it like a fountain of divine light. I see a battlefield filled with versions of you, some broken, some tired, some scared, some hopeful, each version representing a chapter of your past, and suddenly a golden wind sweeps across the battlefield merging all these versions into the single powerful being you are becoming right now, and heaven says, every version of them was necessary for the blessing that is coming, and child as the wind settles, I see something unbelievable, your future self standing in front of your present self, glowing with a confidence so intense it almost feels unreal, a version of you who has healed, elevated, transformed, and risen beyond everything that once tried to crush you, and this future version of you speaks directly into your spirit. Do not fear who you are becoming, you prayed for this, and as those words echo, the golden door behind your future self opens wider, revealing a river of opportunity so vast it looks endless, each wave carrying blessings, unexpected financial breakthroughs, divine protection, healed relationships, soul-aligned connections, powerful transformations, and doors you never imagined you were worthy of entering, and I hear heaven say, this river was always yours, but fear blocked your access, and at that moment the ground beneath your feet begins to glow. The blue flames from Michael's sword merge with golden light from the Father's presence, forming a divine pathway stretching from where you stand now to the life you were always meant to live, a path paved with moments of courage you have not taken yet but must take now, and heaven asks you another piercing question meant only for your soul. Why do you trust your fears more than your destiny? You know deep inside that something massive is shifting for you, you've felt it for weeks, sudden signs, repeated numbers, strange dreams, emotional waves, unexpected intuition, a sense that something is about to break open, and heaven confirms it. Your spirit sensed the blessing before your mind could understand it, which is why you feel this pull, this heaviness mixed with anticipation, this pressure mixed with purpose, this exhaustion mixed with awakening. It is your old life resisting your new destiny. Child, listen carefully now. As the river of opportunity flows, I see a shadow trying desperately to pull you back, something that once had power over you but now only survives if you choose fear. And Michael slams his sword into the ground, causing a shockwave of blue flames to explode outward, burning away every remaining attachment to the pain of your past. And your Father in heaven speaks again with thunderous authority. No shadow has permission to follow you through the golden door, and instantly the shadow dissolves like smoke in divine fire. You feel that release in your chest, that sudden emotional shift, that unexpected surge of clarity. Child, that is the weight lifting off your destiny. The scroll now reveals scenes of your life 12 months from today. I see you holding something you once thought was impossible, something you assumed was for everyone else but not for you, something that will make you look back at this moment with tears, because this was the day you almost gave up before the breakthrough hit. I see you standing in a room surrounded by people who respect your spirit, value your presence, and celebrate your growth. I see financial doors opening that erase years of worry from your mind. I see you waking up with peace instead of panic, purpose instead of confusion, strength instead of survival. And now heaven shows me something even more powerful, a moment in your future where you realize why every delay, every betrayal, every heartbreak had divine purpose, because it redirected you toward the blessing you are about to receive within this sacred 90-minute window. Your future self reaches out and places their hand over your heart, and a surge of golden energy shoots through your entire soul, rewriting the lies you believed about yourself, replacing them with truth. You were never unworthy, you were never forgotten, you were never too late, you were never too broken, you were never too small. Your blessing was simply too big to arrive before you became strong enough to hold it. Michael steps beside your future self and says, "Child, heaven is not testing your faith, heaven is testing your readiness." And suddenly the countdown above you accelerates, every tick echoing like a heartbeat inside your soul, and your Father in heaven speaks the final, defining instruction. Step through the door before time seals it shut. You are ready. You are chosen. You are rising now. And as those words pour into your spirit like molten gold, the golden door bursts with a radiance so bright it floods your entire destiny, and you know with absolute certainty, this is it, this is your moment, this is your turning point, this is the divine appointment that only arrives once every 10 years. And heaven refuses to let you miss it again, because the blessing destined for your name is finally within reach. And now, child, as the light from the golden door intensifies until it feels like your entire spirit is standing inside the heartbeat of heaven itself, the realm around you begins to bend and stretch like time is no longer following earthly rules. And Archangel Michael steps forward with a seriousness that shakes the very atmosphere, his wings expanded so wide they cover the past behind you, shielding you from everything that ever tried to stop you. And he says in a voice that echoes like ancient thunder, "Child, the blessing approaching you is bigger than anything you have ever imagined. Do not let hesitation steal it." And instantly the air trembles with a divine vibration, a frequency only chosen souls can feel, and as it washes over you, something inside your chest begins to open, like your spirit unlocking a door that had been sealed since childhood, and suddenly the visions come rushing in, faster, brighter, More detailed than ever before, I see the nights you cried quietly, so no one could hear, the times you forced yourself to be strong because you had no one to rely on, the moments your heart broke but you pretended you were fine, the sacrifices you made that no one ever noticed, the prayers you whispered into the darkness hoping someone above would understand the pain behind them, the dreams you buried because life kept disappointing you, the hopes you silenced because you were tired of being let down, the promises you made to yourself that you never had the support to keep, all rising to the surface like forgotten pieces of your soul returning home, and heaven reveals the truth behind all of it. Child, none of those moments were punishments, they were preparation, because the blessing heaven is releasing in this 90-minute window requires a soul forged in fire, a spirit strengthened by storms, a heart that survived what should have broken it. And now that you are finally strong enough to carry the weight of your own destiny, heaven is granting you access to the life that was always meant for you. The golden door expands again into a massive archway, and from its center emerges a river of swirling light filled with fragments of your future, moments of joy so intense they feel unreal, opportunities so divine they almost defy logic, reunions with people who will heal parts of you that others damaged, blessings so big they will make you realize God never abandoned you for a second. I see you standing inside a future where you wake up not with dread but with excitement, where the chaos in your mind finally goes quiet, where the peace you've begged for flows so naturally it feels like breathing, where the financial chains that controlled your decisions for years snap into pieces beneath your feet, where the spiritual attacks that once drained you lose all power over your life, where the love you lost returns in a higher, healed form, where the person you are becoming finally matches the person you always knew you could be. And child, let me tell you something heaven is whispering directly into your soul. The moment you step through this golden door, the timeline of your entire life will rearrange itself, shifting you into alignment with blessings that have been stored for you in the heavenly realms for years, blessings that could not reach you earlier because the version of you back then was too wounded to receive them. But now, after everything you've endured, heaven says you are finally ready. Michael holds up the scroll again and the symbols on it begin to glow with blinding brilliance, each symbol representing a divine promise, protection from harm, acceleration in purpose, restoration of what was stolen, multiplication of what remained, elevation beyond the reach of your enemies, peace that cannot be shaken, clarity that cannot be stolen, strength that cannot be broken. And the scroll begins unraveling faster as if heaven is running out of time to deliver this message, and the countdown above you flashes again, the golden numbers pulsing like a heartbeat, reminding you that the window is still open but narrowing every second. Your Father in heaven steps forward again, and this time his presence feels even stronger, warm enough to melt your fears and powerful enough to silence every voice in your past that told you you were not enough, and he says with a voice that sounds like love wrapped in thunder, "Child, you have waited long enough. You have suffered long enough. You have doubted long enough. This blessing belongs to you, do not let fear claim it." And as those words pour into your soul, I see your future self standing taller, stronger, radiant with purpose, reaching out a hand to pull you forward, urging you to step into the destiny that is already yours. The air becomes electric, the light becomes overwhelming, Michael's wings form a tunnel of blue fire guiding you toward the breakthrough you've prayed for more times than you can count, and now, child, as the golden door stretches taller than mountains and the air around your spirit begins trembling with the weight of heaven's urgency, everything inside this divine realm shifts again, time slows, the atmosphere thickens with purpose, and a rare silence falls, the kind of silence that only comes when heaven is about to reveal a secret that has been hidden for years. And Archangel Michael turns toward you with a gaze so intense it feels like he can see every thought you have ever had, every fear you ever carried, every promise you ever broke to yourself, every moment you wished life had been kinder, and he says with unshakable certainty, "Child, you were never fighting alone, even when you couldn't feel us, we were beside you," and instantly the entire realm lights up with thousands of angelic silhouettes, your protectors, your guides, your messengers, your unseen warriors, standing in formation behind you like an army prepared to defend your destiny with everything they possess. And in that instant you realize something that makes your heart tremble. The battles you survived were never meant to destroy you, they were meant to reveal the strength inside you that heaven always knew was there. Suddenly the ground beneath you begins to glow with silver light, spreading outward like ripples across a cosmic ocean, and from these ripples rise memories, memories you forgot, memories you avoided, memories you buried deep inside yourself because they hurt too much to carry, memories of all the moments your spirit cracked but your soul refused to break, memories of all the nights you prayed with tears falling into your pillow while telling everyone else you were fine, memories of the times you held yourself together without receiving a single thank you, memories of betrayal that cut you so deeply that parts of you never fully healed, memories of disappointments that made you stop trusting your own intuition, memories that shaped the walls around your heart, and heaven gathers these memories into a swirl of light, compressing them into a single glowing sphere that floats above your hands, and your Father in heaven says, "Child, these wounds are not your identity, they are the proof of your endurance," and the sphere bursts into a shower of gold dust, falling onto your timeline, rewriting the meaning of every painful chapter you lived through, transforming trauma into wisdom, heartbreak into strength, confusion into clarity, fear into faith, loss into redirection, delay into preparation. Archangel Michael steps beside you and lifts his sword toward the heavens, sending a massive bolt of blue fire straight into the clouds, and the sky splits open revealing a celestial map, millions of threads connecting your past decisions, your unseen miracles, your close calls, your narrow escapes, your unexpected blessings, your intuitive nudges, your unanswered prayers that later became your greatest protection. And as you watch these threads weave into the shape of your destiny, you understand for the first time that nothing in your life was random. Every person, every delay, every loss, every breakthrough, every intuition, every heartbreak, every miracle was part of a divine architecture designed specifically for your soul's evolution. The golden door pulses brighter, and now a divine force begins pulling you toward it with the same energy that planets feel when pulled by gravity, and your spirit rises with a strength you did not know you carried. But suddenly the realm darkens just slightly, as if something is approaching, one last test, one final resistance, one shadow from your past making its final attempt to cling to your future. I see the shape of your old fears, the version of you who never felt good enough, the moments of self-sabotage, the doubts that whispered, "You can't," the heaviness that made you question your worth, the insecurities planted in you by people who never saw your value, all merging into a single shadow standing between you and the golden door. Archangel Michael stands between you and that shadow, the flames of his sword roaring with such power that even the darkness trembles, but still the shadow whispers, "Are you sure you're ready? Are you sure you deserve this? Are you sure you're strong enough to change your life?" And for the first time in your entire journey, you do not shrink. You do not fear. You do not run. Your spirit steps forward, shoulders squared, heart awakened, eyes glowing with divine determination, and the entire realm gasps as your presence alone pushes the shadow backward, because, child, heaven has been waiting years for you to finally recognize the power inside you. Michael lifts his sword high and strikes the shadow with a beam of blue fire that splits it into dust, and the dust vanishes into the winds of heaven, never again allowed to influence your life. You feel that release, the sudden lightness in your chest, like decades of weight falling off in a single second. The countdown flashes above you again, the golden numbers more urgent now, faster, brighter, pulsing like the heartbeat of heaven itself, and your Father in heaven steps forward one last time, placing his hand on your head, and the moment his touch meets your soul, your entire being erupts with golden fire, purpose igniting, destiny unlocking, gifts awakening, intuition sharpening, courage rising, blessings aligning, protection strengthening, and his voice, deeper and more powerful than anything you've ever felt, says, child, step forward. The life you lost is gone. The life you prayed for is here. The life you were born for begins now. And as those words vibrate through every layer of your existence, the golden door opens completely, flooding your path with a light so bright it feels like stepping into a higher dimension, and at that precise moment you know, this is no longer a message, no longer a sign, no longer a warning. This is the moment your destiny is activated. And now, child, as the golden doorway expands into a luminous gateway stretching beyond what your human mind can comprehend, the very fabric of the heavenly realm begins to vibrate with a frequency so powerful it feels like your soul is standing inside the pulse of creation itself, and suddenly the space around you shifts, revealing layer upon layer of hidden truths that have been concealed from you since the day you were born. And Archangel Michael steps behind you, placing his blazing hand upon your back, not to push you but to steady you, because the revelation that is coming next is so massive, so destiny-altering, so spiritually seismic that even the strongest souls tremble when they hear it, and heaven opens a massive scroll above you, not your personal scroll, but a cosmic manuscript containing the ancient blueprint of your life, your purpose, your mission, your calling, your destiny. And for the first time ever, you see what heaven saw the moment you took your first breath. On earth, an indescribable explosion of spiritual potential, an energy signature so rare that even the angels pause to witness it, a divine marking on your soul that identified you as one of the few chosen to carry a destiny that would impact not just your life, but the lives of countless others around you. The scroll begins to rotate slowly, glowing with layers of light, gold, blue, white, silver, crimson, and as it does, the heavenly realm reveals that every storm you survived shaped you for something greater, every heartbreak carved space for something holier, every loss redirected you toward a timeline that aligned more perfectly with the person you were always meant to become, and heaven whispers, you thought you were being punished, but you were being sculpted, and suddenly the entire realm erupts into a panorama of every moment you almost gave up but chose to rise again, every moment you stood alone but still pushed forward, every moment you doubted the path but still kept walking. Child, heaven is showing me scenes of your spirit before you entered your physical body, brave, radiant, eager to fulfill your mission, and now that same ancient courage is awakening inside you, rising like a sleeping giant finally opening its eyes after decades of silence. The golden gate pulses again, sending ripples of divine electricity across the realm, and these ripples begin pulling fragments of your future toward you, visions of abundance, stability, purpose, divine partnerships, restored health, powerful intuition, open doors, elevated opportunities, financial ascension, each one orbiting around you like planets drawn into the gravity of your rising destiny. You feel that tug inside your chest, that magnetic pull, that sudden heat behind your ribs. That is your spirit aligning with the future heaven wrote for you long before you ever faced the disappointments that made you doubt yourself. And then your Father in heaven steps forward again, his presence now so magnified that the entire realm bends in reverence, and he extends his hand toward you, not in warning but in invitation, and his voice, steady, ancient, unstoppable, fills the entire universe with a single sentence that shakes your soul to its core. Child, the life you desire has been calling your name for years. Step now before it is taken by another. At that moment, the countdown above your head accelerates, the numbers glowing hotter, brighter, louder, each second echoing like thunder across the walls of eternity, and you finally understand the full truth. The opportunity heaven is offering you is not ordinary, not random, not accidental. It is a once-in-a-decade divine opening, a celestial portal, a rare spiritual alignment where your past, present, and future collide in a single moment of decision, a moment that will determine whether you rise into the purpose you were created for or fall back into the cycles that have held you captive for years. Michael lifts his sword once more and drives it into the ground, causing cracks of blue fire to race across the floor of heaven, breaking apart the last remaining ties to your past, fear, guilt, regret, self-doubt, old identities, generational wounds, and child, you feel it, that sudden rush, that breathtaking release, that overwhelming sense of finally being free, not just emotionally but spiritually, mentally, karmically, energetically. The golden doorway expands so wide it looks like the entrance to a new universe, and your future self steps out of the light again, closer this time, so close you can feel the warmth radiating from their body, and they reach forward, place their hand on your cheek, and whisper with a voice that sounds like your own but stronger, wiser, healed. Everything you lost is returning in a better form. Everything you survived is about to be rewarded. And everything you were afraid to believe in is finally becoming real. Heaven erupts with light, Michael shields you with his wings, the countdown pulses toward its final phase, and the golden door begins pulling you forward with unstoppable force. And in that moment you understand on a soul-deep level that stepping through this door will not just change your life, it will resurrect it, restore it, expand it, elevate it, and rewrite it into the destiny heaven always designed for you. And now, child, as the heavenly realm stretches open wider than the horizon of creation itself, the light pouring from the golden doorway shifts into a swirling vortex of celestial energy, spiraling upward like a cosmic tornado pulling every part of your past, present, and future into perfect alignment. And suddenly the entire atmosphere around you begins to hum with a resonance so ancient and powerful it feels like the heartbeat of the universe is syncing with your own, and Archangel Michael steps closer, his armor glowing with symbols you've never seen before, symbols older than time, symbols used only when a soul is about to enter a destiny phase that is irreversible and transformative beyond comprehension, and he raises his sword toward the heavens, unleashing a beam of blue fire that splits the sky into two realms, one representing the life you came from, and the other representing the life waiting for you on the other side of this divine doorway. You see the contrast so clearly, your old path dim, heavy, weighed down by cycles that repeated every time you tried to rise, and your new path blazing with light, overflowing with blessings, filled with opportunities, relationships, breakthroughs, victories, and spiritual authority that your past self was not strong enough to hold. and child, heaven reveals the greatest truth of all: you were delayed so you could be upgraded. And the moment those words echo across the realm, the ground beneath you erupts with golden flames that rise around you like a pillar of destiny, burning away every doubt, every fear, every insecurity, every lie you believed about yourself, every voice that ever told you you were not worthy of great things, every memory that tried to convince you that your dreams were too big for you. Suddenly a divine wind begins to blow, swirling around your body with such force that it lifts your spirit off the ground, raising you into midair as if heaven is physically elevating you above the level of your past, and you feel the weight of your old identity snapping away like chains that were rusted and brittle, and heaven whispers, "The version of you who suffered cannot enter the life that is coming." And in that instant your entire spiritual identity upgrades, transforming from someone who spent years surviving into someone who is finally ready to rule the territory assigned to them. The countdown above you starts to expand, not shrinking, not threatening, but amplifying, each number glowing larger, brighter, louder, turning into celestial drums beating in the sky, marking the rhythm of your ascension, and the heavens open layer by layer revealing thousands of angels watching in awe as your soul rises into its next form, because child, your breakthrough is not small, it is divine history being rewritten. Suddenly a massive book appears before you, larger than a building, carved with radiant light, and heaven reveals another secret. This is the Book of Unlived Blessings, containing every miracle, every opportunity, every breakthrough, every answered prayer that life tried to steal from you. The book opens itself, pages flipping rapidly until it lands on one glowing page, the page with your name engraved in heavenly ink, and as the letters pulse with gold light, your Father in heaven places his hand on the page and says, "Everything that was taken from you is being restored. Everything delayed is being accelerated. Everything broken is being rebuilt into something greater," and instantly the blessings written on the page rise into the air, visions of success, visions of stability, visions of love, visions of abundance, visions of divine protection, visions of inner peace, each one orbiting around you like glowing planets waiting to be absorbed into your destiny. Archangel Michael lifts his sword again, striking the air with such force that the vibrations reshape your timeline, erasing negative patterns, closing toxic cycles, removing spiritual obstacles, silencing enemies, and elevating you to a frequency where nothing low vibrational can follow you. The golden doorway pulls you even closer now, its gravitational force stronger than ever, and you feel your soul leaning forward, your spirit rising, your heart awakening with a courage so fierce it feels like fire in your veins. The entire heavenly realm begins chanting in a language older than earth, a chorus of angels singing the song of your ascension, and the sound sends waves of energy through your body, unlocking spiritual gifts you buried long ago: intuition, clarity, discernment, vision, determination, strength, resilience, and as each gift activates, your entire aura erupts into pure golden light so bright it forces the shadows of your past to dissolve instantly. Then your future self steps forward again, but this time with even more power, eyes glowing like sunrise, posture unshakable, presence magnetic, and they hold your face with both hands and whisper a truth that breaks every remaining chain in your soul: you were never behind. You were being prepared. And now heaven says your time has arrived. The golden doorway bursts with divine force, the countdown reaches its final crescendo, heaven tilts toward your timeline, angels rise into formation, destiny roars like thunder through your spirit, and in that cosmic, sacred, irreversible moment you understand the full truth: Stepping through this doorway won't just change your life. It will elevate your entire existence into the version heaven designed long before the world ever tried to dim your light. And now, child, as the golden doorway surges open with a force that shakes the pillars of heaven itself, the light pouring from it transforms into a living river of divine consciousness, swirling and folding in ways that defy human understanding, and suddenly the entire realm becomes brighter, louder, more alive, vibrating with an energy so powerful that even the angels take a step back in reverence, because the transformation happening inside your spirit right now is not ordinary, it is historic, cosmic, written into the architecture of destiny itself. Archangel Michael rises above you, his wings expanding so massively they blot out entire galaxies behind him, and his voice booms through the infinite skies. Child, you are stepping into an identity heaven protected for decades, and as his words strike the air, thousands of ancient seals, seals you didn't even know were there, begin to crack open around your life, releasing stored energy, unclaimed blessings, trapped favor, dormant spiritual authority that was waiting for the exact moment your soul reached this level of readiness. The light intensifies until it wraps around you like a crown of fire, and suddenly your entire spirit begins to shift into alignment with your higher self, your true self, the version of you that has always existed in heaven's memory but has been hidden under years of survival, disappointment, fear, and earthly struggle. The atmosphere becomes weightless and you feel your soul rising higher and higher until you can see entire timelines below you, paths you almost walked, paths you avoided, paths that would have destroyed you, paths that would have limited you, and then your actual timeline glowing like a golden river stretching into eternity, shimmering with blessings so immense that your human mind cannot comprehend the magnitude of what heaven preserved specifically for you. Suddenly, a massive celestial clock appears in the sky, its hands spinning faster and faster, marking the acceleration heaven is granting you. Doors that once took years will open in days, breakthroughs that once required tears will manifest without struggle, opportunities that once seemed unreachable will appear at your feet, and heaven whispers, time is no longer your enemy, time has bowed to your destiny. The clock explodes into dust and the particles wrap around your body, rewriting the delays that once tormented you. Archangel Michael lowers himself to your level and looks directly into your soul as he says, "The strongest angels are assigned to the strongest missions, and you were created for impact beyond your understanding," and instantly you see millions of lives connected to your future decisions, people you will inspire, people you will heal, people who will rise because you rose first. Your Father in heaven steps forward again, but this time his presence shakes dimensions, stars bend, galaxies fold inward, light refracts into patterns that have no name, and he extends his hand toward you, but not to test you, not to warn you, to anoint you. His palm touches your forehead and an explosion of divine energy bursts through your entire being, unlocking power you didn't know you possessed, strength that will never collapse again, courage that will never fade again, clarity that will never blur again, favor that will never be stolen again, protection that will never fail again, purpose that will never be confused again. Your entire aura erupts into a hurricane of golden fire as heaven begins chanting your name in the language of creation, and your future self steps out of the golden light once more, but now they look impossibly powerful, an upgraded, unstoppable, unbreakable version of you, warmer, wiser, wealthier, stronger, glowing with divine authority, and they lean forward, placing their forehead against yours so your souls merge for a brief moment, and they whisper the sentence that detonates every remaining limitation inside you, "I am you, after you step through the door. The heavenly ground shakes as the countdown flashes violently above you, reminding you the portal is still open but narrowing, and the golden doorway pulls harder, its gravity becoming irresistible, and the angels begin forming two giant columns on either side of the path, creating a royal corridor for your ascension, and heaven says, "Child, this is the moment we have been preparing you for since your first breath. Do not fear your greatness, embrace it," and as the golden light wraps around your soul like a cloak of eternal purpose, you finally understand with absolute clarity, stepping through this doorway will not just elevate your life, it will rewrite the destiny of everyone connected to your name, shift the energetic structure of your future, dissolve every chain tied to your lineage, activate blessings stored across generations, and establish you in the identity heaven always knew you were capable of becoming.